Here at the National on Collect TV, and joining me now is Adam Ireland, the Vice President of Global Collectibles for eBay. How would you characterize this national so far?
It's fabulous. I mean, this is just when the community comes together, right? And it's amazing to see so many people, all the generations, from the kids that are here through to the folks that have clearly been here since the start. Everyone together, everyone having a great time. It's just really what you love to see about the hobby.
Well, I bought one thing here and I bought one thing on eBay this morning. So thanks to the guy who sold me the 1972 Madison Square Garden Mick Jagger's 29th birthday party when they got in a cake fight. I bought that on eBay this morning. So what do you hope to get out of this? Obviously, people know when they're home, they're doing things. How do you expand the brand that's already so big?
I mean, it's a great question, but if anyone comes back to the booth, they're going to see that we've got a huge eBay Live activation there. For us, that's really like the next generation of kind of how commerce is working. Obviously, like breaks have been a big thing, but we see it going much more than breaks as well. When you look at that, just like that Jagger piece that you're just talking about, imagine when you've got the seller able to talk to you about that item, tell you a little bit about the history of that item, and when you think about the amazing, unique selection eBay's got, to be able to go through that in a sort of live experience is just incredible.
It's almost like, please don't leave money on the table. If you know the story, if you could tell it, that's good for me and you, right? I mean,
Exactly.
that's the idea of eBay Live.
Exactly. The buyer gets to get so much more background and interest out of it, and the seller gets to be able to like actually get realize more value because of the fact they can tell the story, because of the fact they can entertain as well.
Obviously, the new deal with collectors with PSA, the idea that you can get something graded and this is no tension, no friction. You can basically turn it around with a push of a button and it could be on eBay and that's it. Uh, Early returns,
I mean, it's been a really, really impressive start. I mean, just kudos to the teams on both eBay and over at PSA for that integration that they built out. As you said,
big companies having to get together real soon and do something.
exactly. And like, it's hard enough often to get something done in one big company. So when you've got to do two, but it can be even tougher. But as you said, like frictionless. And our CEO Jamie likes to talk about like magical innovations, and usually we mean like things that are powered by AI. But this is just really smooth, great product work. To mean that, as you say, as you're going through that experience, you've got the choice to send it to eBay, you've got a choice to send it to the vault, or you've just got the choice to send it home, and just takes the friction out of the experience.
Let's ask about the recent Golden deal. Uh, what is the key takeaway for why eBay wanted to do that deal?
I mean, when you look at the brand that Ken Goldin and that team have built, it's just incredible for the high end collectible markets. And there's a reality that like eBay has its strengths, but it isn't in that super high end. And so when there's that inventory out there that needs that white glove service, that needs that amazing marketing push that Ken and his team can bring to it, we know that's going to be the right place to put that inventory.
So how will it work? Could someone inadvertently post a high end piece on eBay and it would get fed to Ken and he would then market it in the way that he does?
We're definitely wanting to make sure we have those conversations with our sellers and sort of say, hey, where's the right place to be it? But like, honestly, the long-term vision is that that's not even really a conversation and that we should be able to show things in both places. So, if you've got some of the more mid-price collectibles going on Ken's platform, then how are we able to bring the eBay 130 million buyers worldwide and get those eyeballs on that inventory as well, so we can just drive the price
So
realization?
different types. It could be an eBay link, it could be a Golden link, but it should be cross promoted.
Exactly, and then you look at again at the broad spectrum of categories that we've got on eBay. That's an ability to take some of those things and help Golden expand into other
Yeah,
categories as well.
put it in the right place because sometimes it's just in one big auction or. Uh, I have one question. There is a Scandinavian site that holds things for certain days, right? So you have trains on this day, or has
Hmm.
eBay ever decided to because that's like auctions do more of timing.
Yeah.
eBay is set to whether you want to have a 1 day or 6 day or 9 day or whatever auction, whether you want it to end on a Sunday. Is there any want to say to a seller, hold up, we want to get all this together and then maybe feed it back to a can auction, or is there anything there?
So we've been doing a little bit of that with the marquee auctions that we have running now, and so that has been a little bit more of a curated experience than we just have, where we've got the sort of the seller just on their own schedule. That's been really nice for us, just in terms of being able to put a little bit more promotional push around it. But again, it's one of those. I think it's a great push because that is where Ken's got the such great experience in how do you curate those experiences. I mean, the Golden 100
Right.
always comes together so beautifully. I got so much fun going and looking at their booth and getting really excited by some of the stuff they're showing. So I think it is something we could look at on the eBay side more as well.
What's next with user data? About a couple years ago, you allowed users for the first time to really see, like, okay, you can type in a name, you can see the graph. There's a pro version of that, I think. I think every platform, no matter what it is, wants to show data. So what's next with eBay there?
Well, that's a great question, and that's actually another piece that's coming out of the relationship with PSA because we're really wanting to make sure we're pulling in information directly from PSA as well into that. So
Right, because sometimes my problem is I'll search something and really what I'm getting is the ungraded raw. Right, I type in the data doesn't pull me enough to a PSA 8,
yeah,
so then it's like, well, then it's not good enough for me.
yeah, exactly. So idea of being able to pull in certain numbers, being able to I pull in population counts even. At the end of the day, we always want to try and drive more liquidity into the market, and the more that you're able to provide data in the experience, the more that people are going to feel confident making a purchase because they've got all the data they need.
That's amazing. Automatic population pull in is for me is a very big thing, right? Because then you're just relying on the dealer. It just takes longer
Yeah.
if you can get a PSA eBay certified number, then it just makes so much more sense because that's what this game is about. What do you see as emerging categories? Sealed toys, sealed iPhones. What have you kind of seen as an emerging category?
Um, Definitely, that sealed tech
Yeah.
is a big thing. I mean, iPhones, as you say, but in general, there's the generation is now coming through, right? And it sort of like tends to take that sort of like 25-year time frame before you start to really see nostalgia kick in, and people who from that age have got some money that they're looking to spend.
Yes.
They're trying to
When they
reconnect to
get
their
to 40 to
childhood.
50 years old, that's when you're spending like crazy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so whether that's like some of the Nintendo stuff that's going well now, video games definitely coming through.
Things that you see and automatically touch your heartstrings.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. This same weekend, obviously, there's San Diego Comic Con going on, and lots of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff going on there. And I think that's another one of these where you've just seen that same sort of like wave of nostalgia coming through.
Last question. What is the future of authentication? Some people say, oh, what eBay has done through PSA is a bit redundant. If there's a now, maybe not, because we've seen a lot of fake cases, a lot of fake flips. What's the next thing that eBay is doing from the authentication standpoint, especially now that you and PSA are so close?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's always about trying to build trust into that exchange, and it's both trust for the buyer and trust for the seller. So often, we'll often hear a little bit of feedback from sellers saying, "Hey, like, I'm a trusted guy. Like, I don't need to be going through this," and that's the case. But once the fact that it's gone through PSA, we're able to protect the seller as well because we know that thing has been shipped out. We're able to confirm that the buyer is going to be able to get what they said they were. So we're super bullish on the program. Nothing I can confirm right now, but always looking at like where are those next places where we can take that to, other ways to extend that program because we do know trust is so important at
Adam
the heart of the program.
Ireland, the vice president of global collectibles for eBay. Thanks so much for joining us here at the National.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.